back to another video. Today we're here with
Austin Scott!
Woo!
He's been in Hamilton and Girl from North County.
So, let's get on to the video.
Here we go! Broadway time!
First question. How did you get into theater?
How did I get into theater? So I'll take you way back to the beginning. So when I was about 6 years old, I was in kindergarten, and this woman, she had a children's choir called Bowena, and it's this choir that like travels all over the world. This will happen to be like based in my hometown. So she came into my kindergarten class, and she had, I think everybody sing like Happy Birthday or something like that. Basically, she held auditions, and she said I had a good ear. I think she said I had perfect pitch, which is a bold-faced lie. I do not have perfect pitch. But she thought I was good enough to be in the choir. So I joined the choir. And I think that was kind of I spent like 3 years with the choir, 2-3 years. And that was kind of my first chance, like getting to be in front of people and, singing and all that stuff. I was so shy though. I think I just mouthed the words most of the time and didn't actually sing. But that happened. And then I think around that time, I also tried to get into this acting school because I walked by it with my mom and I was like, oh, I'd really love to be a part of that, like to try that. So she took me in and they told me that I was actually too shy. So they wouldn't take me into school. So I went back home and I was kind of sad because, I think they had also told my mom, like, maybe, he should consider kind of another passion or something.
Yeah.
But I came back, I know, right? But I came back about a year later and I went to my mom and I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready to do this. So I put on my little suit and I went in there and I did like a terrible, 7-year-old British accent. I was like, hello, my name is Austin Scott. And I got in, they let me in. So that was my first, that was when I started kind of like taking classes and stuff like that. And really, since then, off and on until present day, really, like I've been working. I've been doing things. Now I didn't hit commercial success, until I booked Hamilton back when I was, what was that, like 4 years ago now, 3-4 years ago. But there's this whole world just underneath that of, community theater and regional theater and all this stuff. And I'd kind of been like dabbling and working in that for a long time. So, around that time I was doing like Chia Pet commercials and community theater productions. I played like a little version of I called him Little Ricky in a show about my town, and it was like a little musical thing with music that was written by, I forget who was written by. But yeah, I was doing kind of all things like that. So really just, that was my introduction, I think. And then from that point on, I got the bug and I just kind of kept doing it.
Okay, yeah. What was like being in Hamilton?
It was, probably the most extraordinary experience of my life, but also one of the hardest things I've ever done. It is, it's a lot of responsibility, for one, and it also is like really a physically and emotionally difficult job. When I got the role, again, I had not done anything of that caliber, let alone led something of that caliber, right? So like I was kind of freaking out. I was like, I don't know how to, carry this on my shoulders. I was 24, I think 23 or 24. So I started like hitting up all my friends, right? So I called Javier Munoz, who was the alternate Hamilton in the original company. He played Hamilton on Sundays. And I called my friend James Iglehart, who was the original Genie in Aladdin on Broadway. And I was just like, y'all, help. Like, I don't know what to do. How do y'all, how did you do this? Right. And they gave me a lot of really incredible advice and, just talked to me about it is totally an ensemble piece. And so it's not all on your shoulders. However, on that Sunday matinee when everyone's tired and they just want to go home, it's kind of on you to like lock eyes and say, we got to make sure the stakes get met, because there's people out here who've been waiting for, possibly years to see this show. So, we got to make sure we meet the stakes for them. And like, I'm going to show up for you. You just do it back for me and show up for me. We can get through this. So that was really cool getting to learn that. But, especially on tour, there was every city had its own vibe, but every city also had like its own climate to deal with, right? So we would go from like Phoenix, Arizona, or Tempe, Arizona, where it was hot and dry, to like Denver, where there's zero oxygen, so much so that they had to literally put oxygen tanks on either side of the stage so that we would like come off after doing my shot and we'd have to come and like take a hit of oxygen for a couple minutes just so that we could keep doing the show.
Oh my
Because
God.
Oh my gosh.
we would get so lightheaded and we would like run out of breath as we were rapping or dancing. So, there was a lot of that was an interesting challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The dedication.
Right. That's crazy.
That's so crazy.
A lot of incredible artists that made it easy.
What is your favorite show mishap?
So, the story that always comes to mind, there are many, but the one that always comes to mind is, so Hamilton wears this green suit at the top of Act 2, right? They call it the money suit. And what you may not know about that suit is that the fabric that it's made of does not stretch at all. And so all the other costumes stretch, but not that one. So I remember when I first tried it on, I like sat down in the chair and I was like, yo, I can't really move in this. Like, I don't know. Like, oh, don't worry, it's gonna be fine. Like everyone says that, but it's gonna be totally okay. It's like, okay. So then there's a move that I do in Cabinet Battle 2, where I drop down, I pretend to pick up King Louis's head, and I do a bit with it, right? Well, one night I squat down to pick up the head, and my pants just ripped wide open. just white tights. We wear white tights underneath, just white tights to the audience. There was no hiding it. And of course, none of my cast members saw this, but I just was like,
did the audience say anything? Did the audience say anything?
I think I heard there was a couple like, oh. There's a couple just like, but I think everybody tried to be cool because they immediately knew like that is a terrible thing. This just happened to this performer, and we feel so bad. But I definitely heard some audible gasps. And again, if you've seen the show, Hamilton doesn't really leave the stage for the next like 20 minutes.
Right.
He's got to take a break, say no to this, room where it happens before he actually gets to leave the stage. So that whole time, I'm just like walking around trying to like keep my legs crossed, sweating bullets, just trying to hide this massive hole in my pants from the audience, even though I'm sure they already saw it.
Right.
And I got off stage and everyone was like, why are you sweating so much? And I'm like, you didn't see me rip my pants? Like, oh my God. It was so mortifying. And so they sewed it up. And then it happened again, I think, like the next week. And so they actually ended up giving me these special pants that had like elastic in the in the inseam of it, and that is now uniform, I think, across all Hamiltons. So I would say, like, I may not have been in the original company, but I did originate the Hamilton stretchy pants, and I think that's worth something. So.
Right. What is your favorite thing during quarantine?
What's my favorite thing to do?
Yeah, during quarantine.
Well, I've been doing a fair amount of writing, a lot of reading. Like I love to read, and sometimes when I'm in a show, it's hard to find like the mental energy sometimes to even read a book. So I've been doing more of that. But I think my favorite thing has probably been the cooking that I've been doing. I've always wanted to kind of try cooking, more like interesting recipes and stuff like that, not just throw some chicken in the oven, come back, get it, and it tastes what it tastes like. I wanted to really just like follow recipe. And so I've got to do that a lot more. And that's been really, really fun. Me and my girlfriend have been doing a lot more of that. We've been cooking our own dinners. And, unfortunately, when you're doing a show and stuff, your schedule is such that like a lot of times you're just ordering in because you don't, again, have the time or the energy or whatever to make the whole meal. So that's been really, really cool to get to do that.
What was it like learning choreography for Helpless, then doing it backwards and Satisfied?
So that was probably the hardest thing in the whole show, I think, to learn. Like the turntable alone was really difficult because, literally you would be doing something and then all of a sudden the earth is moving under your feet and you have to keep rapping or singing or whatever and not like forget the words. So that took a long time for me to figure that out. Quick little side thing. It's another little mishap. So sometimes the turntable would malfunction, right? Because it was a piece of machinery, and it
Right,
relied on,
right.
people would call a cue, and then someone would hit a button and it would turn. So sometimes it would either go early or go late or just not go at all. So one time it went early. I think it was during the 10 dual commandments.
Hmm.
And so I
Oh.
was in a position on the stage where I had one foot on the inner turntable, one foot on the outer turntable, and it was supposed to rotate, but it was supposed to rotate like 5 or 10 seconds later, so I had time to get on one. It started rotating while I was still splitting both of them, so I literally like did a splits and like had to
Oh
jump
my
up and try and get on.
gosh.
That was another really interesting thing.
Mhm.
But anyway, that's my side. But yeah, it was a trip because helpless is one of the most complex numbers in the whole show alone, and then you got to do it all again with satisfied, and it's the same thing, but it's also very different, and a lot
Right.
of it is
Mhm.
backwards. So it was definitely kind of like a mind bend. But I remember once I did it, and I think everyone will tell you this, like once you've run through helpless satisfied, like that sequence once, you feel like on top of the world, like you've done this amazing thing, and
Mhm.
you want to tell your mama and everybody about it. So that was
Okay, so this question is a little bit confusing, and I'll say it two ways, okay? So, what movie would you want to turn into a musical? And then, what musical would you want to turn into a movie?
fun. Whoa.
Yeah.
I have not been asked that question. That's a great question. Okay, what movie would I want to turn into a musical? God, so many have already been turned into a
Right,
musical.
right.
I think maybe maybe The Mask. Have y'all ever seen The Mask with Jim Carrey?
Yes, yes, yeah. He's like
Mm-mm.
green. Isn't he
It's kind of
green?
like a Yeah, he's green. He's got
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
green mask on. It's kind of an old school movie, but I think that could be really funny. The whole concept is he finds this like ancient mythical mask, and
Yes.
when he puts it on, he's kind of a shy guy before he puts it on, and he becomes this like
Right,
super
right.
confident, like wacky, whatever. So I think that could be a really interesting musical. So I'm gonna say that, and then musical that I would like to be a movie. I'm excited for Wicked. That's already happening, so I don't know if that's
Me
a
too.
you know
Right,
that's
it's
a
gonna be
cheat
so
answer, but
good.
Mhm.
I'm really excited about that one, and I'm really excited about Dear Evan Hansen, which is also happening. I got a couple friends who are
Yeah.
going to be in that, so I'm really excited for that.
What is your favorite stage door memory?
Mm, my favorite stage door memory. I mean, doing the stage door was one of my favorite parts about being in Hamilton. Just getting to meet the fans was so cool. Um, I remember there was one time. I don't even remember why it was, but there was one time I came out of the stage door on Broadway, and there was literally just a sea of people. Like there's always, a good amount of people, but for some reason on this day, it was just like, you know, 20 people deep on all sides. And I came out and looked at that, and like that was just something I'd never experienced before. Like getting to walk out there and know that all of these people are there and just saw and really enjoyed something that I was a part of. Like that was, just really mind blowing to me. And then, I think I walked out and I saw like a bunch of little kids in costume dressed up as like Hamilton or Eliza, and just seeing in their eyes like how much the show meant to them. Um, that was just really special, and that was something I got to experience pretty often. So, it's not one memory, but I think that's kind of what sticks in my mind when I think of the stage door.
What is the favorite scene? What is your favorite scene out of any musical you've been in?
Favorite scene out of any musical I've been in? I think for kind of like my 7-year-old self, it is the big fight scene in this musical I did called Hood. Uh, it's a musical about Robin Hood. I did it in Dallas,
Mhm.
Texas. It's still in kind of like pre-development. That was the world premiere. They're working on getting it to Broadway. But I played the bad guy, the villain, Sheriff of Nottingham, and we got to practice with real heavy metal broadswords, and we did like two or three of these like intricately choreographed fights in the show. And That was just so much fun for me because again, like my 7-year-old kid had always wanted to be like a sword fighter. I had the plastic swords when I was younger and stuff, and so getting to like do that and actually like hear the things cling. And for a while they talked about putting sparks on the swords, but they didn't do that, which was probably wise. But just getting to do that was so cool. It was also terrifying because I was really afraid I was gonna like seriously injure the guy playing Robin Hood, but I didn't. I injured him a little bit, but not seriously. So it was okay.
What do you want to do in the future?
Right now, I think I am kind of shifting my focus more towards film and TV. It's something I've been thinking about for a while, and it's something I've done a little bit of in the past. But I think it's just it's time for me to kind of just like break into that world a little bit, because I've been so lucky and so blessed to be able to like obviously play Hamilton now, and I was in Girl from the North Country on Broadway, which is my opportunity to like originate a role on Broadway. So I've gotten to do that, and I definitely want to keep theater in my life for sure. Like that's always going to be a part of my career, but yeah, I'm interested to kind of explore that other side of the business, and work in that other field. So I would love to do like a long running series, or something like that, or maybe like a big Hollywood feature film. I think that'd be really fun. But that, and I also want to do more writing. I want to start, kind of playing around with maybe doing some writing of my own writing, whether that's a musical or a TV show, or like I've kind of worked on little things like that, but never really seen them all the way through. So I'd love to do that.
What is one thing you like and don't like about theater?
Well, I love theater because it's unlike any other art form, and it's a very unlike TV and film, which is why I think I'll always have theater. There will always be a place in my heart for theater. But I love that you show up, the curtain rises, and the show starts, and like from that point on to the end of the show, you don't really know what's going to happen, and neither does the audience, right? Like you've rehearsed it, and kind of like what should happen, in terms of like, oh, I'm supposed to sing this here, I'm supposed to walk here, but at any moment, something could happen. Your pants could rip, or the turntable could go early or not work, or someone could forget a line, or whatever. And it's like that sense of just like you never know what's going to happen. I think really makes a theater performance, a live performance, alive, in a way that no other like performance really is. And the audience never knows either what's going to happen. I think Tommy Kail, who was the original director, we call all of the original creatives, Lynn, Tommy Kail, Alex Lacamoire, Andy Blankenbuehler, we call them the cabinet. And one time Tommy said, you have to do this show as if it will never be done again. Like that performance, if it's a Thursday night, there will never be another Thursday night performance like that. You are sharing something with the audience that no one else is ever going to get to witness. Yes, people will get to see the show on other nights, but they're never going to get to see that show. And I think coming at it from that point of view, really just helps keep the spirit alive in the show, and just like gives you an excitement, because you're like, yeah, I'm doing something right now that I get to share with everyone out there. And once it's done, it's done. No one else gets to see it. Like that was ours. We got to share that. So I love that. What I don't love is it's hard. It is hard. It is a hard job. Any theater performer will tell you that. 8 shows a week, doing the same thing more or less, over and over again. It's hard on your body, hard on your mind, hard on your voice, hard on your spirit. And so it really takes, it takes a lot of self-care to keep yourself going, and it takes a lot of people outside. Like I always say, to get me through playing Alexander Hamilton for 2 years, it took probably a team of like 20 people behind the scenes, physical therapists, vocal coach, vocal therapist, massage therapist, nutritionists, weight train, like, physical trainer, like all of these different people, therapist, just like, general therapist, like all of that, just keeping everything going, and, not just, collapsing under the weight, because it's a lot, especially when you're doing it in front of thousands of people every night. So Yeah, it is a very tough job, but as they say, I think pressure makes diamonds. So, I have so much respect for all performers, especially theater performers.
Okay. Have you met Lynn, like Lynn Manuel Miranda from Yolanda?
From Yolanda.
Oh,
I mean, like
so we
that's
have
the
fan
person who said.
questions, and she's gonna ask them first.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I didn't understand. I was like, I know Lynn. Wait, Lynn from Yolanda. I don't know if I know Lynn from Yolanda. Okay, thank you, Yolanda. Yes, I've met Lynn several times. The first time I got kind of introduced to Lynn was actually before I was doing Hamilton. I was doing a production of In the Heights. So I played Benny in the Heights twice, once in New York and once in California. So I got to meet him like virtually because he sent like our cast video and stuff like that. But the first time I met him was when I was auditioning for Hamilton in one of my earlier rounds of auditioning. So, long story short, I auditioned several times for Hamilton, other characters before I actually auditioned for Alexander Hamilton and got Alexander Hamilton. But one time, I was going out for Lafayette Jefferson. He was in the room, um, and I was rapping Guns and Ships, and he actually got up from the table and was like rapping with me and like giving it back and forth in my audition, and that was so cool. I had never experienced that really with like a creative in an audition before, so that was really cool. And then of course, since I booked the role, like he shows up all the time. Sometimes I'll be walking around backstage and I'll like walk past the stage manager's office and I'll look at it and he'll just be like sitting on the couch on his belly, like texting on his phone with his hair in a little like ponytail and just like kicking his feet in the air. Like that's him. He just kind of shows up, and sometimes he'll show up in the middle of the show and like right before I'm about to go on, he'll like sneak up and whisper. He's like, "It's going very well." He'll just leave. So he's really funny. Oh, one other funny thing. One time when we were in DC, he needed to use my dressing room to film. They were filming something for the Chicago um, exhibit that they were creating, and he he had been in my room earlier that day, and then of course I went in and used it when we did the show that night. And he came in at intermission and he was like, hey, it's going super well. You're so awesome. I'm so sorry if your room smells like a tuna fish sandwich because I did eat a tuna sandwich earlier. So I just wanted to say sorry. You're doing great work. See you later. So he's just like the nicest, like funniest, most random dude you've ever met, and he's really cool.
You can ask all of them, Anaya. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. What was it like meeting the Avengers from Michael?
That was so cool. That was, I got to meet so many of my idols doing Hamilton and doing North Country, and just in my career now, I get to meet a lot of really incredible people that I've looked up to for years. But what Michael's referring to is there was one night when it was Captain America, Drax, and one other. Well, Spider-Man. So Tom Holland, Dave Bautista, and Chris Evans all showed up one night, I think. And I also had heard that like Tom Hiddleston, who played Loki, was like down the street at the same time. So it was this really like crazy kind of like all of them came together at one time. But it was just so cool because like I went up to him after the show and I was like, hey, I'm Austin, and like, oh my God, like we loved you, and I was like, you're the Avengers.
Right,
like,
right.
I love you. What are you talking about? And like, they wanted to take a picture with me, and I was like, that's just insane. Like, it was so cool because I'm a huge Marvel, MCU nerd. For those who don't know, and so yeah, it was just a really cool moment.
Okay. What is your favorite food from Gabriel?
I am a huge fan of Chinese food and Japanese food. So with Chinese food, essentially everything, but specifically sushi with Japanese food. And yeah, I could kind of eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which was kind of a thing. That was often what I would order, like between shows on Broadway when I was doing Hamilton or something. I would order like either a bunch of sushi or a bunch of Chinese food. Usually, the sushi usually was kinder to me just because it's like lighter and everything.
Right.
Sometimes the fried rice and all that would make the second show very hard. But yeah, those are my favorite.
What's your favorite animal from Danielle?
Favorite animal? It's a good question. I guess it's like an eagle. I don't really know why. I think I've always been kind of like obsessed with flying. That's like the idea of flying. So I've always known when people ask me like, if you would be any animal, what would it be? I'm like, oh, I'd be an eagle because you get to go anywhere, and like you're just master of the skies. So I think eagles are really dope.
Okay. What is your favorite color from Chloe?
This is actually a hard question. So it used to be blue, but when I say that now, it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't sit with my soul. So I often want to say black, but I'm like, is black even a color?
Right.
So I don't know. But I think like in terms of what I like to wear, I love to wear black. I love to wear maroon. I think I'm gonna go with maroon, and this may be like an exclusive, like Austin Scott's figuring this out right now on the Broadway Time show. But I think my favorite color is maroon.
You heard it here, guys.
Thank you. You heard it here first.
Okay, and then the last one I think is, do you play any instruments?
I dabble in piano, but I'm not, like you're not going to see me playing any concerts or anything. I really kind of just play it to be able to write songs, which is something that I do sometimes is do a little bit of songwriting. So I mostly can just like, I can do some chords to kind of be able to put things together or, try and get something out of my head. But that's about it. When I was in middle school, I played the flute for about a year or two. Was never any good. Could not play a single note on it now, but there was a time. That and the bongo drum, and I think I can still play the bongo drum pretty well.
So now we're gonna continue on. We're gonna go to a game, and so we have two games. One called Put a Finger Down, and one called Guess the Musical. And so you can choose which one or both.
And Put a Finger Down, you can put a finger down if it like applies to you. And then Guess the Musical, we just guess the musical. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so should I start with my hands up like this? Is that what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Put a finger down if you rejected plans because of rehearsal.
Put a finger down if you cried at closing night.
Any closing night?
Yes.
Or, yes, any closing night. Yeah, I have.
Put a finger down if you've been noticed on the street.
Put a finger down if you interacted with that theater girl.
With that theater girl?
Yes.
Yes. I love it.
Put a finger down if a famous person ever came to your show.
Put a finger down if you ever burped or farted on stage.
Yeah, I'm not going to have any fingers left in a second.
Put a finger down if you ever fallen on stage.
Yeah.
Put a finger down if your voice cracked on stage.
Yeah.
Put a finger down if you got gifts from fans.
Yeah.
Put a finger down if you play multiple roles in a show.
Oh, all of
them. I didn't. There was not a single one of those that I didn't put a finger down.
Okay, I have to ask. How was it interacting with that theater girl?
So I've interacted with that theater girl and that theater guy. And, it's just, you kind of got to just, and like, keep your eye in your lane and just do your thing. Because, it can be such a toxic energy. And you got to, it's, I've interacted with them in the instance where I like let it affect me, and it really just like brought down my whole experience of the show and my performance and everything. And then I've had it, obviously opportunity to just like do it again where I just focused on my own track and did my own thing. And that was by far the better way to handle it for me. Because, like, I don't even have time to get involved in why you are the way you are and all that. I know you got your reasons. You do you. I'ma do me. And as long as we can show up for each other on stage, like, that's what's important to me. It's like behind the scenes, like, I'm not gonna mess with you, whatever. Just like do your thing. But on stage, we got a job to do. We gotta be professional. We gotta like show up for each other. So as long as we can do that, we're good. If we can't, we got a problem. We gotta talk to somebody about it, because we can't do the thing if that's the case.
So I also have to ask, what happened when you burped or farted on stage?
So here's the thing. It happens all the time. Again, we're up there so often. When I was Hamilton, I'm on stage for like 90% of the time. So, bodily functions are going to happen. I will say, though, at least once a show, there would usually be, because there's a bunch of dancers and everybody on stage at a time. And, every now and then you would just be doing your show and you would just kind of walk through a cloud or something. And you just knew. And you're like, and I got to stand here now. Right. Like, I can't walk somewhere else because my blocking is here. So I got to so you got very used to just kind of being in it. And, sometimes people would like claim it backstage and be like, that was me, my bad, had a burrito, so sorry. And sometimes you just never knew who it was, but that's part of the gig. That is not a question I've been asked before, so thank you. I appreciate it.
I have a question. What show did you play multiple roles in?
So one of the ones where I was an offstage cover. So, for anyone watching who may not know, there's obviously like the principal cast who is on stage night after night, but then there's also a whole separate like cast of multiple covers, and these are people who, some of whom don't get to go on stage like every single night, but they have to always be prepared to come on and play whatever roles they cover. So I did that in a show called Choir Boy before it went to Broadway. It was on Broadway for a while, but I did it when it was in LA at the Geffen Playhouse, and I covered 3 of the main roles. And that was, again, very, very difficult because you not only create this character for one character and learn all the blocking and everything like that, but you have to like split your brain into 3 or however many characters you cover, and create these fully fleshed out performances for all of those characters, and then you have to be ready to do it at the drop of a hat. And that is very difficult, which is why I've always said, for people who playing Alexander Hamilton was so hard because it's such a intense and complex role, and there's so many words and all of that. And yet there are people in these Hamilton companies who cover Hamilton, Burr, George Washington, Lafayette Jefferson, Mulligan. Like, they'll cover 5 or like sometimes more roles. Yeah. And I don't understand. I'm like, I bow down to you to be able to hold all of that in your brain. And be able to just do it at the drop of a hat. Like, those are the real MVPs of Broadway. Like 100%. 100%.
So now we can play the other game if you want to. And so the other game is Guess the Musical. And so we'll give you small little prompts. It could be a lyric or like something that's said in the show. And you have to guess the musical. And if you don't get it right the first time, we do have a clue.
Yes.
Okay. I'm like a terrible musical theater person, so bear with me. Let's see how I do.
These are pretty easy, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad, so if I can do these, you can probably do them, yeah.
Okay, right on. That's helpful. All right, let's do it.
Green meets blonde.
Wicked.
The end is coming.
The end is coming. Give me a hint.
Simple Sponge.
SpongeBob. Oh, that's right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, SpongeBob.
Freak meets Pink.
I would have said Wicked again. Okay, Freak meets Pink. Is that Mean Girls?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
A whole bunch of Davids fight Goliath.
A whole bunch of Davids fight Goliath. These are good. I'm gonna need a hint.
Seize the day.
Oh boy. A whole bunch of Davids fight Goliath. Seize the day. You guys might have stumped me. I'm gonna say it's not right, but I'm gonna say Les Mis.
No.
No, what is it?
It's Newsies.
It's Newsies.
Newsies. I've never seen Newsies.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, shame.
Passion Dies.
Passion Dies. Y'all said these were easy. Passion Dies. Gotta give me a hint.
I'm Breaking Down.
Oh, I know this.
Do you want me to give you like somebody that was in this show as a clue?
Sure, let's try that.
Andrew Rannells was in this show.
I think this is one of the hardest questions. So.
Okay. Give me what's the first thing again with Passion Dies? I think it's I didn't see this one either, but it's what was it called? Was it called Falsettos?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I didn't see it either, but I knew.
Cape Cow Hair Slipper.
Uh-oh. Siri keeps popping up and I can't hear when she does. Sorry. Okay, what did you say?
Say again? Yeah. Cape Cow Hair Slipper.
Cape Cow
Mm-hmm.
Hair Slipper. Cape Cow Hair Slipper. Well, Cape Cow Hair. See, when I think of slipper, I think of Cinderella, but the other things, Cape.
Cinderella's in this story.
Oh, she's in this story.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? It's Into the Woods.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Let It Go.
Frozen. I know that one.
My Shot.
I don't know. As Hamilton.
Yes. If you did that, I was gonna be like,
I was thinking,
you're like, what?
Okay.
Yes.
Turn It Off.
Book of Mormon.
Arabian Nights.
Aladdin.
Yes.
So you got 8 of them, and when you got wrong, that was the hardest one. I think it was which one was it?
I got Newsies wrong.
Newsies, yeah.
But I can get how you could not get that. If you haven't seen it, you want to know.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie?
I mean, no, and it's so sad because I have a bunch of friends who were in the movie, and I have a bunch of friends who were in the original company. So like, I should have seen it, but I did not.
If you have Disney Plus, you can go watch it. Like,
yeah.
That is
true. I
true.
think sometimes play it on like just like TV, like reruns.
Yeah, with like the Broadway musical Pro Shot is on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's what I'll do tonight.
But now we're gonna go on to
Quick Round.
So these are like rapid fire questions.
You have to answer them really quickly.
Quickly, yeah.
Okay.
So, first question. Favorite Halloween costume?
Giant M&M.
Harry Potter house.
Hufflepuff.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Favorite song?
Ordinary People by John Legend.
Favorite actor?
Will Smith.
Favorite musical?
Rent.
Favorite food?
Chinese food.
Favorite color?
Maroon.
Favorite beverage?
Sprite.
Favorite place to eat in New York?
Dim Sum Palace. That's not true, but sure, why not?
Biggest pet peeve.
When people say "ew."
Favorite sitcom.
favorite sitcom. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Favorite costume.
Yeah, Hood. My costume for Hood.
Favorite animal.
Eagle.
What other roles would you want to play in Hamilton?
Eliza, George Washington, and Burr.
Favorite sport.
Basketball.
Favorite role to play?
That I have played.
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton.
Favorite movie.
Avatar. No, but fine.
Avatar's good.
Favorite dance style.
Waving.
Favorite pop star.
Billie Eilish? I don't even know. I don't even listen to Billie Eilish. Fine. That's my answer. Billie Eilish. I think she's dope.
Favorite dance number in Hamilton?
Yorktown. It's been a minute.
Favorite
Yorktown.
book.
Favorite book, All the Light We Cannot See.
Favorite theater saying?
Favorite theater saying?
Mm-hmm.
Merd. It's a funny word.
Okay, we're done.
We're done. That's it.
Okay, I have to ask you a question.
Oh, it was so fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why didn't you like ew? Like you don't like the word? Like, you use it or
I feel like I could see y'all both felt personally attacked when I said that.
No. A little bit. I was like, ew, I say ew all the time. I feel like I only say
I know.
Not to like people, like not to like food, but like if I'm in a situation about like myself, I'm like, ew, why did I do that?
Yeah.
So I just want to know.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I think, I think this really is not my biggest pet peeve anymore, but I remember when it first became a thing, and I was in probably like, I don't know, I guess I was in high school, and like everyone was doing it. And like I would, it'd be something where like I would say a joke to, a girl I liked or something, or say a joke to my friends, and they'd be like, ew. And I'm like,
so it's trauma. It's trauma behind the word.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I felt personally attacked, and so I need to attack everyone else who says it now.
Right.
But like, I think when it first happened, I didn't understand. I'm like, wait, I didn't say anything gross. Are you saying that I am gross, or that I'm like, I'm disturbing you? Like, what's happening?
Right. Hey guys!
Thanks for watching.
Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you can get every update.
And come back next week for the one, the only, Desi Oakley!
Woo!
But we'll see you next time. Bye!